People don't just disappear from your life. Sometimes God removes them with a purpose so deep, so hidden, that you won't understand it until much later. And the shocking truth is that many of the losses you label as accidents, tragedies, or betrayals are actually divine interventions meant to protect your soul, redirect your path, or break the chains you didn't even know were holding you back, because God sees what you cannot see, hears conversations you were never meant to hear, and understands the spiritual battles happening behind the scenes while you're simply wondering why someone walked away, stopped calling, or died before you were ready. You keep asking, why did this happen? Not realizing that sometimes God removes people to protect you, because He knows that certain relationships, if they stayed longer, would slowly poison your peace, distort your identity, or drag you into cycles of pain you were never meant to endure. And His warning in Proverbs reminds you that not every path that feels right leads to life. Sometimes the breakup, the betrayal, or the sudden silence was the rescue you didn't want but desperately needed, a spiritual shield that kept you from walking into a future built on lies. And sometimes God removes people not because they harmed you, but because He wants to redirect you, because their season in your story has ended, and their voice, their presence, or even their comfort would keep you standing still when God is calling you forward, just like He told Abraham to leave everything familiar so he could become everything he was meant to be. God knows that certain people would anchor you to an old version of yourself, and so He loosens your grip through separation, distance, or circumstances you cannot control. And yes, sometimes the most painful removal comes through death, the moment when someone you love is taken home, leaving a void so deep you can't breathe. Yet heaven whispers that Psalm 34 verse 18 is still true. God is near to the brokenhearted, and while you're drowning in grief, He is secretly working resurrection inside you, shaping your character, sharpening your spirit, and calling you into a deeper dependence on Him that you would never have learned through comfort alone. Their death is not God's cruelty but God's completion of their purpose, and though your heart shatters, Romans 8 verse 28 quietly reminds you that nothing, even tragedy, is wasted in His hands. There are also moments when God removes people because your growth demands it. You prayed for wisdom, strength, healing, clarity, and God, in His mercy, begins pruning the relationships that keep you small, distracted, or spiritually asleep, because you cannot rise while holding on to people who choose to stay low. And Jesus Himself said that every branch that bears fruit must be pruned so it can bear more. So God cuts away what you cling to, not to punish you, but to prepare you, and the removal feels like rejection when it is actually refinement. But perhaps the most surprising reason God removes people from your life is this: He is making room for better. You keep asking Him to bless you while holding on to relationships that choke the blessing before it arrives, and in His love, He refuses to let the wrong people occupy the space meant for the right ones. What you see as abandonment is often alignment. What feels like loss is divine preparation. What breaks your heart may be saving your future. So the real question isn't, why did they leave? But, what is God making space for? Because every removal carries a message, every separation carries a purpose, and every loss, no matter how painful, carries a seed of transformation. And if you're willing to trust Him, even through the ache, even when your hands are empty and your nights feel endless, you will eventually look back and see that God never subtracted without intending to multiply, never closed a door without preparing a better one, never took someone home without holding you through the grief, and never removed a person from your story unless it was the only way to move you toward the life, calling, and identity He designed for you. So here is the challenge. Stop chasing what God has released, stop grieving what God has completed, and start asking Him to open your eyes to the hidden mercy behind every departure, because once you learn to trust His pruning, you will stop fearing His plan, and finally understand that whatever God removes, He replaces with something stronger, purer, and perfectly aligned with the destiny He has already written for you.